Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are broken, and here's why.
What the dog doing?
Oh, hell no!
Emotional damage.
That's awesome.
Is that not the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen?
That's the best.
It is the best. So moving along, Pokemon fans vent frustrations online about Scarlet and Violet's technical issues. The new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet games are perhaps the most ambitious entries in the long-running series ever. But unfortunately, it seems the game's performance and technical issues are dragging down the overall experience for many trainers around the world. As a result, the user score on Metacritic for Pokemon Scarlet, the only user-rated version at the time of this writing, is just 2.9 out of 10, with users on the website citing gameplay glitches, frame rate issues, underwhelming graphics, textures, and more. It's created a lot more discourse online, which with pretty much everyone chiming in with their own personal thoughts, including some critics. Much of the conversation seems to be about Game Freak's ability and the Pokemon Company's international handling of the franchise. And then it goes on to post literally dozens of videos that we could go watch with this game being broken. But then, hopping over to Forbes, they have an article entitled Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's Tech Problems Are on Game Freak, Not the Switch. While yes, we have reached a point in the life cycle of the Nintendo Switch where the handheld console is roughly 2 full generations of tech behind its rivals at PlayStation and Xbox, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's recent technical problems can only partially be blamed on the aging hardware. In reality, most of this falls on Game Freak, the stewards of Pokemon who have not figured out how to maximize the limited power of the Switch for the open world of Scarlet and Violet, and seems to be on too short of a development cycle for new games to really give them the care that they deserve. Various technical broken aspects of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have been going viral all weekend, though separately, a posting showing the difference between Xenoblade's open world on the Switch and Scarlet and Violet is specifically striking. And it really is like night and day. 2 open world games. One looks amazing. The other looks like butt. But the article continues. While most of the community is not a fan of the state of how the game launched, there are usual Game Freak apologists saying that it's their first true open world mainline game and they need some slack. But at this point, this is the most profitable video game franchise in history. There needs to be much, much more investment and care given to it. The game is already reviewing as the lowest scored mainline entry in the franchise, and Pokemon may lose its iron grip on the industry if Game Freak does not get a better handle on things. The general consensus is that the game is, at its core, fun, but these technical limitations are so off-putting that it can sink the entire experience. While yes, it probably is time for Nintendo to invest in some more powerful hardware, given that the Switch is 5 years old and hasn't gotten so much as a single performance upgrade. Many other series have done much better work on the Switch, and in this case, most of this falls on Game Freak directly. Hopefully, they're taking this to heart. And so, Colt, after seeing all of this, what do you think? You haven't played the games. I have.
I haven't. I was planning on buying it actually because I like Pokemon games, and it's something I just enjoyed before. I didn't know how much I'd play it, but I was very leaning towards getting it. I got on Twitch, watched some people play it, and immediately it didn't take but 3 minutes, and I was like, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. And then seeing all these terrible graphical issues and technical issues with the game and the way it can't even run smoothly, it's honestly, it's a pretty sad. I mean, I feel bad for like anyone who's not Game Freak that's developing it, but is also associated with the Pokemon franchise in being held slightly responsible or having to answer for this stuff, I feel sorry for them.
So I was on the fence heavily about whether I was going to get this game. I didn't get it until the launch day. And that's after I watched literally about 3 hours of people playing it and said, you know what? I'm going to try it. And at best, I'll have a great time despite the technical issues. At worst, I might get some funny memes out of it and get mad. And that could be a fun Twitch clip. But honestly, despite its poor performance, it has so much potential as a game. It is fun. It is a completely new take on the Pokemon franchise, just how the game truly is. It is an open world game. It treats itself as such, which is so unique and breathtaking for Pokemon, because Pokemon games have always been linear. Like you don't get to really choose how you play it. You just progress through the story, and what Pokemon you use is kind of up to you. This game says no. You can tackle this game in so many different ways. It has so many different plot points. In the previous Pokemon games, it was always like, got to defeat the 8 gyms so you can become the Pokemon master. This game actually gives you other plot lines you can follow in addition to that. Like your big goal isn't just to go do that. Like filling the Pokédex is actually a main story factor for that. There's even like these other major side quests. So like the game has so much potential, but Game Freak has really just botched the delivery. And I think there's nothing in it that couldn't be fixed in a patch. The real question is, can they fix it without it being 2 years?
No, that's something they got to jump on quick. I mean, with the amount of flack they're getting for it, they need to jump on quick with getting these graphical things, especially if it's on Game Freak. It's not on the Switch. It's not the Switch is not the problem. The console is not the problem. It's actually on the game developers. They need to fix that quickly.
Right. I think if it's true that they're in a hard locked 3-year cycle where they have to produce a new series every 3 years, then you could easily throw that back at Nintendo. Nintendo needs to say no. I would argue that is a huge issue in video games in general.
It is.
Whether it be Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed, this idea that you can have a new release every other year or every year and it be this AAA multi-million bestseller bullcrap, it doesn't work. You get games that are half-baked, and it does more to disservice your brand, but also it kind of discourages your fans who love these franchises from wanting to continue to support them, because if they know, this year's Call of Duty or Pokemon is poop, how can they know that next year or the years after is going to be any better?
Exactly. I mean, a game like this not running this way is going to put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, especially if they're not die-hard Pokemon fans that are going to play every Pokemon game, like no matter what. Like me with Call of Duty, I'm going to get every Call of Duty game because I'm just a die-hard fan. But people that are not that way, this will put such a bad taste in their mouth if they waste the money on the game that they may not come back for the next one just because of the possibility of it not being good or not working right.
Agreed. And with that, let us know in the chat, what are your thoughts on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Do you think they're broken? Do you think they have great potential? Or do you think they're absolute trash? Let us know in the comment. We want to hear from you. And if you're new here, hey, I'm Freeman. That's Colt. We're Dude-tacular. You should click that subscribe button and, keep your eye out for uploads. With that, have a great day. Bye.
Deuces.